So, Cody, how good will Arch Manning be in the NFL? You also talked about maybe next year.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm looking at it for next year. I think he's going to have a big year at Texas next season. Some of the most important things that you look at when evaluating young quarterbacks is improvement and development. You're going to make mistakes early on. It's inevitable. It's always going to happen. But what's most important is how you learn from those mistakes and how you correct them. Remember, Arch Manning was only in his first full season as a starter last year.
Yeah.
And we saw in real time him develop throughout the entire year. If you look at the season in totality, early on, with all the pressure he had, he struggled. And there were a lot of question marks about him. His mechanics were off, starting with his feet and his base. He didn't look comfortable in the pocket, especially when he started to get pressure. That in turn affected some of his accuracy with his throws. And then it just looked like really overall he wasn't comfortable and couldn't settle into the season early on, especially after starting out the year playing Ohio State in the first game. But what did he do? With the more reps he got, with the more time he had to develop, he got better and better. And that's what you want to see with these young quarterbacks. And the most important part is he looked better the last 8 games than he did the first 5 games. And those last 8 games were against better competition. They played Oklahoma.
SEC.
They played the SEC schedule. They played Oklahoma and won. They played Vanderbilt, who was top 10 at the time. They played Georgia, which was their only loss throughout that 8-game stretch, and he didn't play great. But then he bounces back, and they beat Texas A&M, who was number 3, and then he looked really good in the bowl game against Michigan. He threw for 220, ran for 2 touchdowns, and then he threw for 220 and 2 touchdowns, ran for 150 and another 2 touchdowns as well. So, although he struggled early on in the year, he got better, and I love the decision by him to come back and play another year at Texas. I really believe that he can clean up some of those mechanical issues. He can clean up some of the things with his footwork. He can get better of going through progression. He can get comfortable with his decision-making, his timing, and his accuracy. And I think he's going to be really good this next season, especially with Steve Sarkisian, who I played for at USC, who I'm a big fan of. I know he does a great job of developing quarterbacks. So if he can continue to do that and he stays on the trajectory that he's on right now, I have no doubt that he'll be the first pick next year if it's a team that's in need of a quarterback.
I agree. I think we'll see a lot of improvement year 2, because usually that's what you do. You probably was way better that next year when she was in the same defense. He was a little comfortable. I walk around the locker room, my energy is just different. My morale is up. So, same OC, a big-time receiver coming in to throw the ball to. He got some good weapons in, good old linemen. I see a nice improvement on his decision-making. And also, I see him winning some of these big games. I thought that's one thing he could have improved on. You play some of these bigger games, O-State, first game of the year, you want to win them. Them kind of games make you the number 1 pick, you know what I'm saying, to me. So I like his trajectory on year 2, and I think he's going to be a day 1 starter in the NFL because you start your first year in the SEC, 27 touchdowns, 7 picks, 3,000 yards. That's promising to me, you know what I'm saying. I like those numbers. I'm a results-based a numbers guy, man. What have you done? You know what I'm saying? A production type of guy. That's what I look at. And you look at 15 starts in them first 2 years, 35 touchdowns, 14 rushing touchdowns. Shit, that's promising to me. I like those numbers, man. 3 losses in the SEC. I love that. So he'll leave college with maybe like 30, 31, 29, around that many starts. That's the same amount as Mendoza, Drake May. They had those many starts. So I think his experience be there. And he going to be in the NFL, a big 6'4", 230, 235 guy, man. I think he's going to be a dual threat quarterback who's comfortable sitting in that pocket, but also very comfortable getting outside the pocket, throwing on a run. You know what I'm saying? That's what he do. So I kind of see it, believe it or not, I see a little Bo Nix in his game, man. Bo can stand in the pocket and throw the ball, right, Cody?
Yeah.
He can sit in there and throw it. You would want his feet to be better and all this, but he'll get better as he get older at that stuff.
And he did get better throughout the year.
He did get better,
especially in the playoffs.
And I seen Bo sit in the pocket and throw dots. And then if somebody come through, he also could escape that pocket, and he's great at throwing on the run. So I see a lot of Bo game in Arch. So I think his game would translate great to the NFL. And on top of that, man, your DNA is real, man. You just best believe my son gonna know what to look at in cover 2 and cover 3 and cover 4.
Thank you.
He's gonna know how to play technique because it's in his DNA. He grew up around this shit. That's the same with Arch. Everything that he did bad last year, you best believe his dad, his uncle, they working on that shit. They on him, hammering in. They gonna be better at that shit because that's what the DNA do to you. You know what I'm saying? We not regular. Our kids are not regular because they gonna go through. It's like they get in the NFL mind from 5, 6 years old. They learn it at a higher pace. They learn it at a more detailed rate than a regular kid. You know what I'm saying? So the corrections will be there, man. His knowledge of football will be there. So I like him to be damn good once he gets to the league.
And to your point, who did Prime send Shador to? He sent him to Tom Brady, right? Mm-hmm. This dude is going to see his uncles, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, his grandpa. Like, the corrections he's making, who is he going to talk to?
Yeah.
To watch, who do I need to go talk to? Let's sit down and watch this tape, and who am I making the corrections with?
Right.
And that's a big deal. But I'm to the point that all y'all made, Leave, you said it's his first year starting. That was promising. So, and I agree with both of y'all, but I'm just pointing something out that he had 13 starts, 31, 63, 26 touchdowns, 7 picks. Okay. The 13th overall pick, 3,567 yards, 28 tubs, and 5 picks. And he was the 13th pick.
He put up his numbers
and he went,
as a sophomore.
He went as the 13th overall pick, and he left school. So imagine what Arch can do.
Yep.
He's already right here, and his trajectory, he's bigger than Ty, he's faster, his mechanics will improve.
They will.
And I'm looking at experience. A lot of people looked at, you said he struggled, but like you said, he gained experience. Mm-hmm. How do you gain experience? You got to go through the fire. So you didn't tell me my first starters in the horseshoe? I got to go to Ohio State, the defending champ. That is my first game as a starter. This is where it starts. Then he go on the road. A lot of people forget the atmosphere matters. It ain't just about the ranking. He had to go to the Swamp. Then he had to go to Georgia. These are places he's having to go through the fire. And now I know, okay, when I went there last time, what was my prep? What was this? What was it? And he's gaining experience. But what I look at is, what did he do as the season went on? You love QBR, Skip, right? His last 3 games, 92, 91, and 99. But then, Cody, you can attest to this, the time it takes to get the ball out your hand. First 6 games, 3.1 seconds. Last 7, 2.6. So what does that mean? He's more decisive.
He's seen the defense
He's deciphering the defense better. This is how he ended the season. So imagine you take all that experience with all his skill set, all his talent, you take what he did, his trajectory, I'm going to take this to my uncle, I'm going to take this to my pops, we're going to sit and we're going to learn. I got better players with me. I got more experience. I'm going to take that. I believe he's going to take that right into the number 1 pick. He's going to play well next year, and then sky's the limit for him in the league. But, yeah,
Everybody's
he's going to be all right. Yeah.
And the production backed it up, because Kinsey mentioned it. When you look at it, the first 5 games, it was 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. The last 8 games, it was 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So he was playing
Against
at a higher level, and you're playing against the SEC gauntlet. And that's not easy to do. And then the way that he ended the season, really catapulted him into the offseason. And to your point, you don't know what you don't know. This was my first year as a starting quarterback in the NFL. Yeah, I have all the expectations and the accolades, and I was this great player in high school, but until the live bullets start flying and I'm in the SEC playing against Georgia or playing against Ohio State to start the season or playing against Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry, I don't know how I'm going to react. So now you have the offseason to learn from that and self-scout and improve. So he's only going to get better as time goes on. And he even got better in real time throughout the season, which was huge for him. The trajectory he's going on right now, I agree with those guys.
And the team got better.
Yep, the team got better. Because you know why? They started believing in that guy more and more, and they saw him getting better. They said, all right, we got a guy we can win with. We know what he's capable of. We see it at practice. Now he's starting to do it on game day. Watch out next year.
I'm not as bullish as you 3 sound like you are. And yet, the one point I will agree on, the one point and factor I would bet on is the bloodline factor, because it's just, you can't get stronger bloodlines than this. Because remember, his father was a really good athlete and got hurt in high school and wasn't able to keep on keeping on. But here are my issues. The first issue I had was he comes out of the Peyton Eli High School in New Orleans, Arch did, with the name of the grandfather, Archie Manning. He's probably way before your time, but I'm old enough to have seen Archie and covered some of his games. And you want to talk about a football player, God. So the bloodlines are intense flowing through him. He's even got the name. And he gets to Texas, and I think he's the it kid. He's that guy. And what happened the first year he was at Texas? Nothing. Quinn Ewers continued to start, and we didn't hear a peep out of Arch. What happened the second year? He started to have little running packages, but Quinn Ewers started again. Wait, this is I'm saying, you're kidding. Quinn Ewers is beating out Arch Manning at Texas? Quinn Ewers, who's going to be a 7th-round pick of the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah, but that wasn't the case at the time. Quinn Ewers was a 5-star quarterback coming out who had a lot.
I'm just saying, we're talking about the it kid. This is a man.
And Quinn Ewers was the it kid before.
Okay,
he didn't have the name, but he was coming out.
It kid. This was the it
still,
kid.
just because Quinn wasn't good in the NFL or wasn't a high draft pick, that don't say nothing about what kind of college quarterback you had. Because I had a damn good college quarterback.
Are you him or not? Are you him? If you're him, you just walk on campus and you say, enough. I got this.
That's not true, though. I'm him.
And to that
I walked on campus in red-shirted. You gonna say, well, I couldn't beat out the corners who was there? I had to learn how to be a college student. I had to be on time. It's certain shit that I had to mature.
But you know what he could have done, Skip, if he wanted. You know what he could have done, Skip, if he wanted to, was transfer to probably 95% of the other colleges and go start right away. But he didn't want to do that because he understood, I need a little time to develop. I want to stay and play for Steve Sarkisian.
But can you develop starting and learn as you go?
I think, but at the same time, it goes two ways. Sometimes guys get thrown in too early, they struggle, you lose that confidence, and you can't gain it back, or you have to go the transfer route and you're forced out of town because you didn't play well.
Smaller too, right?
But why not wait until you're ready to go?
I mean, this is the nephew of Peyton and Eli.
That don't mean you got to play when you're 18.
And that's why he had all the coverage. That's why he had all the coverage.
I don't mean just because, that's my nephew, he go play as 18.
So I gave it the first year. The second year, he sits? Really?
What's wrong with that?
It's a lot. It tells you you're not that guy. If we
does it?
Well,
so they're going to bench.
Wait, who's the Cincinnati Bengals starting quarterback?
Wait a second.
Wait, who's the Cincinnati Bengals starting quarterback?
Archman.
Where did he come out of college?
You can't beat out Quinn Ewers.
He went to Ohio State and then he went to.
Where did he go first?
Ohio State.
Did he start there?
No.
Was he the guy there?
No.
Did they make a mistake? Yes. They made a huge
Why would they
mistake.
bench the guy that just took him to the playoffs though the year prior? Quinn Ewers just took him to the playoffs. They're not going to
take
bench
somebody's spot to just establish that you're the guy.
He just took him to the playoffs. They're not going to say, all right, you're benched now, Quinn. We're going to take him.
To finish your argument, then he does start this year. He starts off really slowly because you kind of glossed over it. But we're going 6 games deep before he started to get a hold of it. And then he says, I'm going to come back next year. You are? You're Arch Manning. Go.
No.
Would he have gone first? Would he have gone first this year if he's in the draft?
Nah.
No.
You would have taken him.
I wouldn't have taken him. I would take Fernando Mendoza.
No, Mendoza would have went first.
Yeah.
He would have went first.
And we would have been sitting here having the same conversation we did about Ty Simpson and Anthony Richardson, who we may talk about today. You have 1 season as this guy as a starter. That's the only evidence you have. You have no idea what that year 2 jump's going to look like. I think those guys would have, now obviously you could argue they were first-round picks and the jury's still out on Ty Simpson, but Anthony Richardson would have heavily benefited from going back to college for another year, continued to develop, and then going to the NFL. He got thrown into a position that he wasn't ready for. They didn't have the information.
So he's with the ultimate quarterback teacher in college football that you played for. That's just me, right?
Yes.
No, nobody can teach that position.
Agreed.
Better than Sark can.
Yep.
Right.
All right.
Andy, the number 1 paid college athlete in football. So
All right. So
why rush?
Yeah.
I already make the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I get paid already. Like,
I don't really think his family needs the
and
money.
by the way, his favorite receiver last year and his roommate went portal to us at Oklahoma. That Livingstone kid, he just said, no, I'm out. I'm sure money talks.
There's a lot of
he
factors.
just say, no, I'm out.
No,
something took him out.
Okay, but if Arch is coming back, and Arch admitted, he said he was hurt by it. He was a little shook up by it.
I think they were roommates too.
Okay,
they were pretty close.
Yet the other thing is, I don't know if you know Cam Coleman, who was at Auburn last year.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yes.
You went out in the portal and you got Arch, the receiver in the portal.
Exactly.
Who will push that kid at Ohio State.
Exactly.
He'll push him. He is in the ballpark with him. Talent for talent. Because I saw him last year 2 or 3 times, especially against my school, Vanderbilt. It went overtime. We couldn't deal with him because he's all that. He's a little beyond Jordan Tyson to me. Just a little on strength and domination. Good Lord.
I don't know about that.
No, he
can ball, though.
He is.
I don't know about that. They different styles.
All right. So I watched every one of these games very carefully. Started out with San Jose State, UTEP. Sam Houston was terrible, but at Florida, OU, he was pretty good. They were very good as a team. We were not very good. Our quarterback came all apart in that game. At Kentucky, they barely won in overtime. These are SEC games. At Mississippi State, they barely won in overtime. And then he started to take off against Vanderbilt. But my point, although we came all the way back in that game to make it a 34-31 game, but the point is, the arch I'm seeing for the first 7 games of the year was like an emotional basket case. He'd get hyper on the sidelines. He's screaming and he's screaming bad and good. He'd throw a touchdown pass and go over there and just go crazy screaming. And I'd be like, come on, man, you're Arch Manning. You don't need to do that.
Right.
But the pressure on him was suffocating, I think, early on this year. And he said he finally just said, what the hell, just let it go, cut it loose. And once he settled down a little bit, you started to see the bloodlines start to flow through. And those last 3 games, although, who's your favorite Michigan player that Dallas drafted?
Barham, the back one,
Barham.
yeah.
Barham.
Yeah.
He did not play in the bowl game. So Arch was protected, right? Well, we didn't have the game record, right?
Yeah,
they didn't have Barham.
But that's part of the reason why he come back to school, because he was like, excited to throw them down and be like, let me just do it one more time. You know what I'm saying? Collect this 8 to 10 mil. I ain't no rush. Just let me clean up everything that I need to clean up.
Yeah.
And
so
he got the luxury to do that.
So 5 days after next year's draft, he'll turn 23 because he stayed all the way, And this is just me, and I'm equating it a little bit to college basketball. The great ones just don't stay. And I know you have to stay 3 years in college football, but the great ones don't stay. They just don't because they're just too good. And they know they are. They just know I'm better than this.
Quick question. You've seen a lot of college football, right? Your thought process of the great ones don't stay. What era was that? Was it the NIL era? Where I'm making NFL money and I can stay in college?
Yeah, but
That's
still.
what, these kids are not rushing to the NFL because they're making millions of dollars.
They are. I got
That's
it.
the difference.
Yeah, but there's something about playing in the National Football League, as you well know.
Of course it is.
There's
It's
just
nothing
something
like it.
about it where if you're destined, if you're a Manning and you're going to continue the bloodline, you just say, I'm going to the National Football League and I'm going to do what
Why
my
does he
uncles
have to
did.
rush to do
And
that?
I think, too, he just played his first full year as a starter, and he felt, like you mentioned, the pressure that was involved with that. I want to be able to handle that instead of going to the NFL this year and maybe having to play as a rookie and save an organization. I'm going to be right back in that same position with the pressure, and I'm not going to be any better equipped to handle it.
Yeah.
Now I have year 2 in college. I'm going to be more comfortable. You know what else he did throughout the season, Skip, that was good for him? Was he gained confidence. And I tell you as a quarterback, when you start making those throws, when you start fitting it into tight windows and you hit a bender versus cover 2 and you throw a dime on a go ball, you start to feel like, all right, maybe I am the fucking real deal. Maybe I can do this shit. And all those question marks I had about myself early on are out the window. And for him, he wants to feel more of that and get more comfortable of living in that headspace and say, okay, I want to develop this year with Steve Sarkisian, clean up all the things I need to clean up so that I'm the best version of myself when I'm heading to the NFL.
Okay.
And you know who else famously returned for their senior years in college?
Look like
Peyton and Eli.
Manning did. Peyton played
Peyton
all.
and Eli.
Peyton played all 4 years.
Yeah,
That's
Peyton
what it's
and
looking
Eli,
like to
they
me.
both came back and played their senior years too. So
And there wasn't
you know,
an NIL money.
it's no rush in
Yeah, but
their eyes.
Peyton was the oldest, and so he was going to have to make his way in the National Football League. It wasn't like he was Peyton Manning. There was Arch above them, but nobody really thought Arch was all that great.
So if Arch is, let's say he's a little better than this past year, is he going to be the first pick?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
so he continued the bloodline, right?
Yeah, it's just
Peyton went first. Eli went first. Arch is going to go first. I mean, no harm, no foul, right?
right. Will he live up to them? Will he be that guy? Will
The
he?
Jets better build that team up. They're doing a
We
good
don't,
job.
we don't,
that's
that's yet
something
to be
matters for
seen, but you
They gonna
said
have a
continue
bunch
the
of cap room.
bloodline. If we all number 1 picks, I did my job.
Yeah.
Well, Skip, maybe these guys don't agree with you, but a lot of the chat agrees with you. I actually asked them what quarterback's going to go first overall in the draft next year, and they're 50-50 if it's Arch.
Who's the other one?
Who's the other guy?
I didn't ask an option. Is he going to go?
Probably Oregon.
Just keep an eye on Dante
but to
Moore.
say
I know
that
Skip
over-
likes Dante Moore.
and a
I don't.
lot of guys
No, I
are
don't.
commenting.
Oh, you didn't like
No,
Moore?
I didn't.
I thought you said last year you were advocating for him to potentially be that number 2 guy behind Fernando Mendoza.
Once I saw him at the end of the year, he
Oh, you didn't like him?
live
Look
up.
like a little baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you still think Arch is going to be the first quarterback?
Hey,
You're just not
and
sold on him.
I just don't understand what took so long.
I agree.
It is scary. Well, come on, you
And a lot
laugh,
of the chat
but you
agrees. They
can't
think
laugh
they-
at that. He's
Why?
Arch Manning.
No,
Well, what are
his
you
name
laughing
is
at?
Arch Manning. That's his name.
Yeah, you
That
gotta-
don't
you gotta-
make you automatically be like.
You
Yes,
got to
it does.
Sometimes
you gotta play and become,
No, it don't.
become that.
Hey,
Like you just said, Peyton
Hey,
had to
I-
do.
Sometimes you gotta develop.
I've said this 1,000 times before OU games. I've said it on all kinds of platforms. I was never afraid of Quinn Ewers. He always folded to me. He didn't scare me at OU at all.
wouldn't
And
either.
Arch can't beat that guy out. I know he was a 5-star.
You probably could have beat him out.
Well,
A lot of the chat is saying that Arch is ass and not good. I don't know why. A lot of people are seeing
The
what
chat
Skip's
can't even
seeing.
tell us who the other guy is.
yeah.
Come on, chat.
Like
Give us a name.
at 26-7 in the SEC with 3 losses, that's just you can't be ass with those
Okay.
numbers.
You're saying Quinn?
No, I'm
No,
talking about Arch.
Arch.
Oh, you're saying his numbers
Yeah,
last year.
that
Okay.
can't be
The
ass.
13th
And that's
overall
not ass.
pick.
Wait a
Had
second.
Dagner the same numbers.
I didn't even dwell on this one, but at Florida, do you remember this game? I know you don't watch
did.
college football.
He's-
Hey, it was the Florida is actually in the Southeastern Conference.
And
so
Florida
they're-
was struggling
yeah,
this year,
they're
too.
okay.
He
They
threw
were,
some picks.
they were
Yeah.
struggling.
Lot of
Swamp ain't an easy place to play.
He was. I watched the whole thing, and he was ass in that game. I mean, he was so ass that you said,
I
"My
actually
God."
watched that game.
Huh?
I said I actually watched that game.
Okay.
did too.
Because you just sit back and say, "Come on, man, you got to be better than that because you're 6'4", 230." And the beauty of Arch over Peyton and Eli is they couldn't run a lick, like a step. And this young man, still a young man, he can really run.
Yeah.
I mean, really run.
Yeah.
Like he looks like 4'5"-ish to me.
Good athlete.
Well, sometimes
Great
that could be a
speed.
detriment because you know you
I
can't run.
understand.
Eli
what he do,
Payton
though?
was forced to,
When you are ass, right? It speaks volumes of how you shake back from that
Yeah, it
game.
does.
And
It
what he
does.
do? He had the biggest game on the schedule.
Yeah.
The Red River Shootout,
Yeah.
right? And he whooped the shit out of Oklahoma the following week after that
did.
game. So
team did. He did.
that say a lot.
He was
threw for
okay.
166.
He was
I'm just
okay.
saying.
Now Gerald did-
We got beat pretty bad, but he was okay.
You shake back,
little
you
bite.
lead your team.
Jeez.
You always start with the quarterback. You lead your team, got a big win the following week.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
I just
that
know
says
he
a lot
gonna
to me.
improve and he gonna give us a headache next year too.
All right,
Yeah.
well,
I just
we're going to
will.
find out. We're going to watch
Maybe
him all
John
year
Material
long.
give him a headache.
I hope so. We gotta stay healthy.